Hey guys, so we're going to talk delt training today. So when we think about delts, we've got the anterior delt, the medial delt, and also the posterior delt. Now the anterior delt and also the medial delt are the only two delts that aren't going to attach upon to your scapula. They're going to attach somewhere up here around your clavicle into a common midpoint on the humerus where they're going to meet their rear delts. The rear delts are going to start from the scapula and attach to that common place too. But they're all involved in very different movement patterns. So when we think about the anterior delt is primarily going to be shortened as we're bringing the arm up and across the body. So when you think about where most people would perform delt raises or anterior delt raises, this height isn't going to cut it. We're going to need to bring it up and across the body to bring the anterior delt into a short position. We aren't necessarily going to need to do a whole lot of anterior delt exercise within our programming, purely because on a daily basis and also within our chest work, anterior delt stimulation is relatively high comparative to medial delts and also rear delts. Now when we think about the medial delts, they're involved in bringing the arm up and away from the body, so abducting the arm away from the body. The medial delt in itself, we can utilize lots of different lateral raise style movements to bring it into a mid-range contraction position. We can also use a Y raise to bring it up into a shortened position. These are going to be implemented within the program. Now the rear delts, as we talked about, these are at the back of the shoulder. They're attaching up onto the scapula. This means that again, we're going to now need a different type of exercise. This time it's going to be some form of rear delt fly, where we're actually going to train the rear delt in the lengthened position. Although this isn't optimal for recruitment of the rear delt, instead what we would be looking to use is a rear delt row. If we bring the rear delt row into our programming, we're now able to create the angle from our elbow and from our shoulder to line up essentially those two attachment points from the scapula and also from the humerus. This allows us to bring the rear delt into a shortened position and get more out of our rear delt training. So there we have it guys, we've got the anterior delt, the medial delt and also the posterior deltoids. These are all going to be trained within the system.